Apple this week at WWDC 2026 released updates to all of its platforms. And of course, we got macOS 27, which is actually officially named macOS Golden Gate. And like the rest of the lineup, it leans hard into Apple Intelligence and the new Siri AI. Now, we already broke down the new Siri in depth over on the iOS 27/Siri AI hands-on video, so I'm not going to rehash a ton of it, but let's do a brief recap and show you the stuff that actually matters with Siri on the Mac specifically, and then walk through everything else that's new this year in macOS Golden Gate. So let's start with Siri, but the Mac angle. The headline is that Siri AI is now a real conversational assistant powered by Apple Intelligence and some help from Google's Gemini. And on the Mac, the most interesting hook here is basically it replaces and makes Spotlight a lot better. So when you search in Spotlight now, you actually have Ask Siri as the top hit, and you just send your questions straight into that conversation. This is a big deal on a desktop because Spotlight is muscle memory for most of us. Command space, start typing, and now instead of launching an app or getting into some documents, you can fire off an actual question and get things done with the new Siri AI. And you can still do all of the other things that you would do with Spotlight, but there's just a lot more to it. I'm able to quickly fire off any question or command I might have, just like before. I use that command space keyboard shortcut constantly for searching things on my Mac or opening up apps. You can still do all of that, but now you can also still get the full capabilities of Siri AI. The second Mac-specific piece here is Edit with Siri, and this one is actually going to land for anyone who works on their Mac and does a lot of writing. Siri can now write or rewrite text basically anywhere you type. Just right-click, and you describe what you want in plain language, and it drafts it up for you and gives you the feedback that you need. So here I have an email, and I do not really want to take the time to read through it and respond. I could kind of already tell that I'm going to decline this opportunity, so I just go ahead and have Siri politely decline it for me. Same thing with a lengthy message that maybe you don't have time to respond to at this moment, or it just requires an answer. You can have Siri do it for you. And in messages and mail, it can match your own writing style, the punctuation that you might use, your tone. So it sounds like you and not like AI wrote it for you. Then there's the new Siri app, which is its own dedicated app now. So every conversation lives all in one place. You can start asking something on your Mac, you can walk away, you can pick it up on your iPhone, your iPad. It all syncs together. You can also pin the conversations that you need to come back to quickly and spin up new ones from the sidebar. Basically, looks a lot like ChatGPT or Claude or any other proper AI assistant, but it's Siri and it does a lot, and this is the workspace for all of that. And the last Siri piece worth mentioning here is how Mac handles visual intelligence. On the Mac, it works through screenshots. I believe there are a few different ways to get to it, but I've been using the Shift-Command-6 keyboard shortcut since 3, 4, and 5 are very related to that. Just kind of makes sense for me. Anyways, you grab a screenshot of whatever it is that you might have on your display. You have an image of some food or something, and you can take action on it right then and there. You can search about it. You can have Siri look up nutritional information, for example. So I've got this, picture of a recipe or something. Maybe I just don't feel like reading through it. I just want to know, is this something that's worth making? What are the nutritional values? What is it? I mean, you can do all of the things that Siri can run here and the visual intelligence stuff, and it's just a really quick keyboard command away. So that's really nice. Okay, moving past Siri and getting into the rest of everything else, Apple Intelligence is now baked into the apps that you already use. So Safari is getting genuinely better. Your tabs can now be automatically grouped into topics. So all your related pages cluster together instead of becoming that endless wall of all these tiny little tab icons that we have. So if I hover over one that has a number next to it, I can see all of the related tabs here and just decide to dive into whatever one I need. There's also Safari's new Notify Me, which watches a page for changes and then pings you when something happens, like a price drop or a product coming back in stock or just any text updating on that page. That alone is going to save you a lot of time. You don't have to manually refresh. You can also create extensions in real time by simply describing what you want, like this online recipe saver you can make here, and have the ability to, make ratings for it so that you know which ones you liked and you can keep coming back to all of your recipes that you might save in Safari. The Passwords app is getting a feature that I think a lot of folks will quietly love. It flags weak or compromised passwords, but it can actually go and update them for you on your behalf without you having to dig through each site one at a time. It's a small thing, actually. I think this is a pretty big thing. It's, you've seen all of your compromised passwords and you probably ignore it because you just don't want to sit and go through every single one. Well, now you don't have to. Photo editing takes a real jump in the Photos app. There is spatial reframing, which comes with the Mac, which lets you reframe a shot after you've already taken it. It acts as if you're sort of moving the phone camera around the subject, either in a horizontal or vertical position, rather than moving the subject itself. Any part of the frame that needs to be added in will work in tandem with the new Extend feature to generatively fill in the extra space. And speaking of, the Extend tool can expand a photo out past its original borders, like I just mentioned, which you can see in this photo of my son. If I wanted to expand this to be in maybe a different aspect ratio, perhaps I wanted a new wallpaper for my phone, so I expand vertically. You can see here that it fills in the missing parts, no problem. And the cleanup tool has been beefed up so it can now remove larger objects, not just a small piece of something in the background. Image Playground also gets better with higher quality images across a wider range of styles, including photorealistic, and you can transform existing images just by describing what you want. If you also create an image, you can then highlight specific elements of the photo, like the moose that I added in here. I can manually resize just the moose portion of the image and not the entire thing. I don't have to regenerate something by describing a new change. If I also wanted to expand the size of mountains in the background, you just go ahead and brush over it, and it highlights it for you, and then you can just adjust those things only. And I kind of like that. You don't have to keep regenerating different images, and maybe you lose out on something that you liked on the past version. And you can easily scroll through your image generation history to see which version you might have liked better. And the Shortcuts app gets the Describe a Shortcut feature too, where instead of manually writing up actions, you just say what you want it to do, and Shortcuts connects the steps across your apps to build it. That lowers the barrier to automation because honestly, if you've ever tried to create a shortcut on your own, it gets kind of intimidating. And so instead of having to search for whatever it is you might want, somebody hopefully had created something already for you, or trying to do it yourself, this is a much better option. As far as the rest of the operating system goes, Apple focused a lot on visual and performance improvements across all of the platforms. The big visual story here is the refined liquid glass. So Apple tightened it up this year for more uniform refraction and better contrast. Readability is a top priority. You get uniform toolbars, edge-to-edge sidebars, updated window shapes, and refreshed menu bar icons. And the part I think people will actually enjoy is that you do have a slider for macOS Golden Gate for liquid glass, so that you can either go all the way from ultra clear to fully tinted. The choice is up to you. For performance, Apple is promising a few things like quicker AirDrop transfers, faster network file browsing, and speedier start page loading times in Safari, just to name a few. There was a whole massive word wall of changes and performance improvements. Not all of them are going to be flashy, but they're going to be the things that you feel constantly and makes your Mac even more snappier than what it was before. There's also a new ranking system for search in Mail that pushes the most relevant results to the top. So even if something is buried deep in your inbox, it surfaces fast instead of having you scroll forever. And last but not least, a few under-the-radar new features that you might not know about. Calendar picks up the describe event trick here. So basically in natural language, you can describe what you want. If I wanted to say I'm having dinner tonight from 6 to 10, or that's a long time, 6 to 8 maybe, at this specific place, I just type it out just like that. And I no longer have to add in the location, the time manually. I just do all of that. And you can change a bunch of different things, say a lunch meeting into a coffee chat. Every other week to every 2 weeks, you can make those changes in natural language and it just does it for you. iCloud shared albums got more flexible too. It's now easier than ever for friends and family who have an Android or Windows device to join and add their own photos through iCloud.com. And shared albums now supports full resolution sharing, along with new ways to filter, react to photos, and invite people in. There's a suggestions feature in Messages and Mail that surfaces quick actions based on the context of your conversation. So if somebody sends you a message like, "Are you free for dinner tonight?" it'll have a little action at the bottom for your calendar, or something that might need to be pulled into notes. Just a bunch of different things there for suggestions that you can act on quickly. Maps also gets an enhanced flyover. I think this is probably going to be a little bit better on the Mac because you have more room to work with and look at. And it combines aerial imagery with visual intelligence models to render everything from architectural details to the shapes of individual trees in really sharp detail. So that's macOS 27 Golden Gate in a nutshell. A smarter Siri that finally feels, like what we've needed and wanted for so many years. Get upgrades to Safari, photos, passwords. You can tune liquid glass to your liking. All of this will be coming later this year. It's in beta right now for developers. Public beta is most likely next month, but Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite feature is for macOS 27. And yeah, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss more coverage on the rest of the betas. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you around in the next video.